Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're gonna be checking out my makeup diaries, which is a collection of 7 different looks that I've worn in the span of a week, and you can get inspired on what color stories I'm using, what products I'm using, and I always give you like a little bit of a review. Usually mixing older products with newer products that I'm hauling, products that I'm trying to ban, so you can get kind of like a little bit of everything. And yeah, and you can get inspired. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows. I do a lot of like panning, collection videos, swatching. So hopefully you will like it here. Vote down below what was your favorite look of this video. And I hope you're gonna enjoy it. So now let's get into this look. Hi guys, so here's another look. Today actually I had to be very quick about it because I just kind of had a lot to do today. So we're gonna start with brows. I used my Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette again, and I'm using the shade Saintess and the shade Midnight Oat in my brows as always. I've been really liking this combination, and I have the Super Lock Brow Glue from Maybelline. Then I, of course, have my Art Deco eyeshadow primer, and I've used the shade Saintess is kind of like the main shade all over the lid. Then I also have the shade the Narns, kind of in the inner half of the crease. I've mixed the shade Midnight Oat with the shade Saintess a little bit in the outer corner, and then I applied the shade Midnight Oat as a eyeliner, and I went over that liner with the shade Kenosis, which I also have slightly on the lower lash line. And on my lid I have the Shine On Shimmer Primer from Cleonut. And I used, on the first kind of half of the lid, this shade called the Heart of the Saintess. And then in the second half, I have my Somna Tupa by Odin's Eye and the shade Meteor. This one. So that's what's on my lid. And then in the inner corner, I'm using the Serpent Palette by Makeup Beauty Shop in collaboration with Martha's Makeup. And I'm using the shade For a Warning, which is my Pendos eyeshadow. So I've been using it for forever and I still have no pen. I'm trying so hard and it's not really going anywhere, so it's gonna probably take a while. Then I have this Salmona gel liner pencil in the shade 01 in my waterline. And I have my Essence All Eyes on Me mascara. And I have the Maybelline Superstay Concealer in the shade 10. And on my cheeks, I have the Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. And for highlighter, I'm actually using this ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Hippo. And my lipstick is the Odin's Eye Angelica Nico's Halloween lipstick. This one is the matte one in the shade Shadow Creature. I'm still not done with this one. How is it possible? Like, I've used it so many times and there's still product inside. I don't know how this happened. But yeah, so that's everything that I have on today. And yeah, that's the look. And I'm really enjoying this look. I think it's really, really pretty. I just kind of want to be like, I want to have some progress on my Pendos eyeshadows and like generally in panning. I just want to have some progress. I feel like it's been a little bit slower lately. But yeah, that's it for today. Guys, welcome back to another look. Today is my second day of reviewing the No Man Haunted Europe palette. And I am really enjoying this look. This is a very fall look, in my opinion. So let me kind of show you what I've used today. For my brows, I obviously started with the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette. And I'm using the shade Midnight Oat. that I'm trying to hit a pan on, and I'm actually mixing that with the Smitten palette from Diaverne and the shade Right Meow, this one. So I've used these two in my brows together with the Maybelline Superlock Brow Glue. Then I have my Art Deco eyeshadow primer, and I've used the Haunted Europe palette all on my lids. So I started with Mary King's Close in the first third of the crease. Then I have Frankenstein in the outer part of the crease, and Dragsholm Castle in the outer corner, kind of blending it into the orange. And I have Grendel on my lower lash line to give it a dark base. It's actually a beautiful green color. And then on my lids, I used Hauska Castle in the first half, the Catacombs in the second half of the lid, the Mary Cemetery on the lower lash line in the outer part, and Boogeyman in the first half. Boogeyman is definitely a bit more orangey than Hauska Castle, but honestly they are quite similar. And then I used the Highgate Cemetery in the inner corner. Then I have the Trended Up Contour and Glide Kyle pencil in this like pale yellow. This doesn't say what the shade name is called, it just has a number which is 051. In case you're looking for this, but you can only get it in German drugstores. Hi guys, so here is another look, kind of mixing up a lot of different things. So for my brows, I have used the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette and the shade Midnight Oak, and I've mixed that with the Smitten palette by Diaverne and the shade Right Meow. And then I have the Maybelline Superlock Brow Glue. I used my Art Deco eyeshadow primer. And then I have, I've actually used from the Haggard palette the shade The Norns to kind of prep my lid. So in the like top part of the lid, underneath my brows, I used this one just to make sure that the other eyeshadows are not gonna be too dark in this area. Then I used my this Leana palette, which currently holds the New Leaf shade from Merry Christmas palette. I will pop it on the screen how it looks like. So I have that all over the lid and in the crease. Then on the lower part of the lid, kind of like where the darkest shimmers are, I've actually used one repressed shade also from the Merry Christmas palette, which is the shade Christmas Tree, which is this shade. I don't have much of it left. And it's just on my lid to kind of create depth there, and also because I want to use these shades up. And then I've used my Ocean Jewel palette by Bella Beauty Bar. So I kind of did like a halo eye. I used the Heart of the Ocean, this one, in the inner and outer part. Then I used Shark's Eye, this one, in the kind of right next to it towards the center. In the absolute center is the shade Oyster, this one. And then I used Starfish in the center of the lower lash line and Fleur de Mar in the outer and inner part of the lower lash line. Then I used the shade Smitten, so the Smitten palette again, and I have the shade Persuasive in the inner corner, and I've used just tiny little bit just in the absolute center of the lid to make it like really bright there. Then, so that's for the eye. Oh, and I think that's all for the eyeshadows. Then I have the Spectra pencil from Glisten Cosmetics, and this one is in the shade Blue. Then for the first time, I used this Judy Doll Curling Iron Mascara. It's one of those that has like a iron tip. It's kind of like a little screw, and I have it in the shade 01, which is the black one. And then I have this Hendayan mascara in the shade 04 on my lower lashes because it's like a blue one, and I don't know, I just wanted to do that. I felt like it will fit this mermaidy theme. So I decided to do like a mermaidy look. Then I have this Black Moon Cosmetics Liquid to Matte lipstick in the shade Ghost on my lips. I felt like it might work. Then we have Maybelline Super Stay Concealer in the shade 10. Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peachy on my cheeks. Then I'm using this Colourpop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Hippo. And I'm topping it with the Salmon 2 palette by Oden's Eye and the shade Meteor. This one. So that's what's on my cheek. And then I also used highlighter under the brows, which I actually took a shade from my Summer BYOP that is currently made out of all of my like different unearthly shades. And I used this shade called Clouds, which is from the Spring Magic palette. I feel like I'm close to pan with this one. So I have that under my brows. And I think that's everything I have on my face right now. So let me know what you think about this look. And now let's get into another one. Hi guys, so here's another makeup look. And today I've used a couple different products. So let me start with the brows as always. I'm using again the shade Midnight Oat from the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette. Together with my Smitten palette and the shade Right Meow, this one. Love this palette. And also obviously the Super Lock Brow Glue from Maybelline that I've been using. I have my Art Deco eyeshadow primer. Then I used actually the shade The Norns from the Haggard palette. It's kind of like a base. I used it all over the lid and the crease. To really make my base very light. I didn't want it to use white primer because I'm currently working on this shade and trying to pan it, so I kind of made my own white primer. And then I used my Oden's Eye Salmon 2 palette and this shade Dream because I want to know pen left behind this palette, and this is one of the shades that I've been missing. So Dream. I have such a huge pan on this one. It looks so pretty. I love having large pans. Then I used the Adventure Time palette from Little Cosmetics and the shade Jelly Horse. This shade, because again, I want to know if I left behind, and this is one of the shades that I've been missing. So that's as a eyeliner. Then on my lids, I used from the Salmon palette the shade Meteor. I'm kind of focusing on this shade right now. And then from the Avatar palette, I also use the shade Candy Elemental over it because it's making it a lot more sparkly and a lot more beautiful. From the Haggard palette, I went over the liner with the shade Kenosis. This one because I've been trying to hit a pan on that. And I feel like it looks better as a little bit more shimmery liner. In my inner corner, I have the Serpent palette by Makeup Beauty Shop in collaboration with Martha's Makeup, and I have the shade Forewarning. Do you see the dip? There's still no pan. I feel like I'm gonna use this as a everyday like inner corner until I hit a pan. It's taking so long. And it's not that I don't like it. I love the shade, but it's just I need something else. Oh, what is there hair in my... Oh. I've been attacked. And then, so I think eyes are done. Have I used anything else on my eyes? No, I think that's it. Mascara, I have this Judy Doll mascara. This is the, how is it called? Judy Doll Curling Iron Mascara in the shade number 1. I have this from YesStyle. I wanted to try it because I was intrigued. It's one of those, this one. I mean, I have nice lashes. It's not, I mean, they are nice. I usually go for a little bit more like volume and like, you know, a little bit more body. But it's making them very like spiky and long. So I'm also okay with that. Then I have this Colourpop cream gel pencil in the shade Amethyst Hour. I always have to remember that because there's no writing on it anymore. I don't know if you can see, but it's all gone. Then I have my Maybelline Superstay concealer in the shade 10. I still don't know if we're like getting to the bottom or not. Revolution Fast Base Blush, as always. I've been making a good progress on this. There's only this much. Yay! I'm starting to kind of almost be hopeful that I can use it up within this year, but also these are hard. Another really hard product I'm trying to pan is like I had this crazy idea that I'm gonna be able to use it up this year. That will never happen. It's the Super Shock highlighter from Colourpop, and this one is in the shade Hippo. I've been really focusing on this one. There's a good dip happening, but I think the most I'm gonna be able to do this year is to hit a pan. And then actually on top of it, I used a shade from my Summer BYOP, which is together, which I have next to these shades, and I've used this one, which is called Starlight, and it's from the All I Ever Wanted palette from Little Cosmetics. It's a beautiful shade. I am having a really good dip on this one as well. If I tried, I could hit a pan on that, but I'm currently working on a lot of different things, so I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to like, you know, overwork myself. Then I have this Catrice Plumping Lip Liner, Maxi Lip something in the shade Manhattan. Is this kind of like a rosy brown. And then I also use this Catrice lip oil. This is the Catrice Summer Lips Lip Glaze in the shade CO2 Orange Spritz. It is a beautiful combo. I just really like it. I wanted something that's not really purple, even though maybe later in the day after I'm gonna have my lunch, I might use a purple lips to change this up. We'll see. But yeah, those are all the products that I've used. So as you can see, I'm kind of working on a couple of different products and a couple of different projects. Hi guys, so here is another look. This was actually a get ready with me that I filmed, and I think it should be up on my channel. So I will link it in the card, one of the, I don't know which way it is, but the cards, so that you can see. Today what I've used is I have the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette and the shade Midnight Ode together with the Evelyn Smitten palette and the shade Red Meow in my brows. And I've used, as always, the Maybelline Brow Glue. Then I have my Art Deco eyeshadow primer, and the light pastel-y blue shade is the shade Waterbending from the Legend of Korra palette from Colourpop. Then I also used a little bit of the shade Neptune from Somana 2 palette by Udens Eye. I have that on my lid as like a base. And then I've used this blue shade, which is Depotted from the Christmas Eve palette, and it's called Night Sky. And I'm using that as a liner. Then I've used the Shine On shimmer primer from Cleonat, and the shimmers that I'm using today is as a base all over the lid. I've used this blue, which is called Angel. It's in my Summer BYOP, but the Angel shade is from the All I Ever Wanted palette from Unearthly. And then in the first half, I also layered on top of it the shade Catastrophe from the Smitten palette. In my inner corner, I have the shade Clouds. This one is also from Unearthly. It's also in my BYOP, but this one is from the Spring Magic palette by Unearthly. And then I also have the shade Clouds under the brows. And I think that's everything for eyeshadow. So in my waterline, I have the Glisten Cosmetics Spectra paint in the shade White. Then this Fake It mascara from Catrice, this yellow one, on my lashes. Maybelline Super Stay Concealer in the shade 10 underneath my in my under eye area. Then I have mixing two products as a foundation. I have the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator in the shade light medium, and the Catrice Insta Bright Serum Concealer in the shade 001N. So this is too light, this is too dark. Together they're my shade, and at least I get a use on both of them. Blush is this Catrice Blush Affair Liquid Blush in the shade Orange Fizz. As a highlighter, I'm using the shade Meteor from the Salmonette palette together with this Mini Charms palette by Beauty Bay and the shade Cosmic, this blue one. This is how the cheeks look like. Oh, I forgot, I also am wearing this L'Oreal Infallible Powder Foundation in the shade 40 Cashmere. I have that to like set the Wet n Wild skin tint. And lips is this Catrice Creamy Nude Lip Pen in the shade 050 Happy Hazelnut. It's a really pretty color. So I think that's everything that is currently on my face. Let me know what you think about this look, and let's get to another one. Hi guys, so here's another look, this time quite simple and easy. I don't know, like, it's the weekend. I actually have all the time today to do my makeup, but I don't know, I just wanted something simple, and I wanted to work on my like project product, so I don't know. And like, I should seize the fact that I have all day to do my makeup and do something like super creative and fun. But I've been kind of feeling under the weather. Like I'm going back to work on Monday after like 5 weeks off or 6 weeks, I don't know, of vacation. So I really am just not feeling it. But I've used the Haggard Ecstasy of Saint Test and the shade Midnight Out in my brows. I'm just using that in my brows because I feel like now my hair is starting to get a bit more darker and just like more brown. There's still a bit of that like red pink there, but it's more like mostly brown. So I feel like, and I wanted to like, if I'm gonna use just this shade, it's gonna take me less time to hit the pan than when I mix it with something else. So, and I kind of want to hit the pan on that, even though I'm probably gonna still use it even after the pan because it is quite a nice brown shade and I'm really enjoying that. Then I have the Maybelline Superlock Brow Glue. I have my Art Deco eyeshadow, this one, Art Deco eyeshadow primer. I actually had to like kind of scrape it to the side because I had such a huge dip in there and I wasn't able to get my finger in there. So I had to kind of scrape it. I think I'm like almost halfway done with this. Or at least it looks like that, which is interesting, but I've been using it all summer. So I feel like maybe I'm gonna have it for like, I think by the end of the year I should use this up. Then for eyeshadows, now I have to kind of think. I've used the Salmonette 2 palette by Uden's Eye, and I've used the shade Solar, this one, in the outer half of the crease. Then I have the shade Warm Light in the inner half of the crease. I have the shade Black Hole as a liner. I used the two previous shades on my bottom lash line as well. Then I have oh yeah, so for shimmers, I've used the Eternal shade, is like reddish shade, and I'm actually starting to see like a bit of a dip there. I've been using my finger with it, and I feel this might be our next pan. And then I'm using the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor palette, and I have the shade Space Dust on my, like in the inner, or like in the first half, and in the inner corner is the shade Calm, this one. Is that everything from this palette? Yeah, I think it's everything from this particular palette. And for the rest of the eyes, so I have this Trended Up Contour and Glide Kyle pencil in this like pale yellow shade. I don't know if it has some kind of name, but there's the number 051. I assume that that's the shade, but I'm not fully sure. It's kind of confusing. Then I have the Skechers Fake It volume mascara, volume and false lash mascara. That's how it's called. It's this yellow one. Maybelline Superstay Concealer in the shade 10. I'm trying for the first time this Peripera Mood Fit Cover Cushion Buff Foundation, whatever. Cushion Foundation SPF 50 plus, PA plus 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 plus, in the shade 02 Ivory Fit, which is supposed to be the shade 21 with yellow base. And I mean, I think it matches really nicely. I had to do like a little bit more of a warmer orange cheek to fit with the eye look, because, and also feel like it's slightly lighter than my neck, but like for every other time of the year, it's gonna be my perfect shade. Right now, I feel like it's just a smidgen lighter, but also I used self tanner like 2 days ago, so you know. But compared to my neck, I feel like my neck is a little bit more yellow, a little bit deeper. But this is how it looks like. It's actually really pretty. There's a plastic thingy that I haven't taken out, but I've bought like 2 cushion foundations from YesStyle, and then one just like a powder, like makeup in powder. And I know I'm gonna do full face of like Asian beauty brands, but I wanted to test one out today and then the other one in the full face video, just so that I can compare and like give you a review for both of them. But like this looks so pretty. It's quite big actually, like the packaging is quite bulky, but you have a mirror here, then the little puff, and then the product obviously is inside. It's actually a really nice color. And what I'm gonna say, because my only cushion foundation I've ever tried, and that kind of made me like not like cushion foundation, was the Terre, whatever it's called, like the viral one. That was so bad. That was so bad. And I was like, I don't think cushion foundations are for me, because it was so cakey and so ugly, and so like it created this paste on my face that wasn't oily, but it felt oily and dry at the same time somehow. Like it was so disgusting. Do you see how my face looks like today? Like, I think you can kind of see I have foundation on my chin, but my chin is very textured because I have acne scars, and also that's where I get all my acne, so there are bumps and everything. So I think you can tell, or at least I can tell in that area, that I have foundation. But everywhere else on the face, even my forehead, you can't tell I have foundation. At least I can't tell I have foundation. And usually my forehead and then this area in between the brows gives it off immediately, and it just looks like my skin. Like it looks like my skin. I didn't have to powder it down, and it feels maybe like as if I were to put a moisturizing cream on, and like like a couple of hours after that, you know, like it feels like in the morning I just put on nice hydrating moisturizer, you know. So like the skin is slightly blushier and like a little bit like there's something, but it's not sticky, it's not like oily, there's nothing that actually gives away the fact that this is foundation, apart from, as I said, the chin. But honestly, with most foundation, skin tints, and other products that I've tried, my chin always gives it away, and I feel like this is one of the better looks. And the fact that it looks completely natural on the rest of the face is just like chef's kiss. I'm so surprised, and I might even try to use this when I'm going to work, because in case you don't know, I never wear foundation when I go to work, or skin tints or stuff like that, because I don't mind wearing foundation when I'm at home, because then if it looks weird throughout the day, it doesn't matter, no one sees me. And like I'm not feeling self-conscious going outside with like 11,000 different colors all over my face, and like a colorful graphic eyeliner all over my face. Like I don't mind that, but for some reason having like either cakey foundation or creasy foundation, or foundation that you can see is on the face, and I know that foundation isn't supposed to look airbrushed and the way that it looks on Instagram, but I just don't like that look. I'd rather have my natural skin with a couple little bumps and a bit of redness than how it looks like with the foundation. Like that's just kind of my preferred way. But this looks nice enough that I wouldn't feel weird going out. And it's not even the fact that I care about the fact that I care about how I look for other people. It's just I don't like the way my skin looks whenever I use foundation. So I'm okay to do it when I'm just here inside, because honestly, when I'm at home, I'm mostly just reading books. I don't even know how I look like. But when I'm outside at work, like there's mirrors and stuff, and then I get bothered by it. It's just I am the reason I don't like to go outside like that. It's not because of other people. Just want to like really clarify that. I'm just like kind of obsessive about certain things, I guess. So this one is really nice. It's really nice. I don't know how much product you're getting. 13 grams or 0.45 ounces of product. This is really nice. Like I feel like this is gonna be so pretty to even like have it on your table. Like it kind of looks aquatic and, you know, kind of like a really beautiful like pearl or something. But anyways, and that's the foundation. Then I have this NYX Buttermelt blush in the shade Soon at the Bottom. This one is like my in my like everyday makeup drawer for August, and I've used it a couple times actually. I think I've used it maybe even like 5 times this month, which is good because I have orange blush that I'm trying to pan this year, and also another blush that I'm trying to pan that's like more peachy. So the fact that I actually got into this already multiple times, and I think I'm gonna try to use it maybe like 1 or 2 more times before the month ends, because I still have more than a week left. So like this makes me very happy, and I love this one. Like this is such a beautiful blush, especially since for the majority of this year I've been using orange eyeshadow as a blush, and even though it works, it's just nicer to work with a blush. It just gives you the coverage and the intensity that you want. With eyeshadows, you have to kind of figure out how to use them, and even then it can sometimes be a little bit struggle, you know. It just takes you longer time, and you have to put more effort into that. So just to use blush makes me so happy. And it's not that I don't like wearing eyeshadows as like blushes and highlighters and stuff. I do like that. It's just sometimes it really is such a nice experience and like kind of pampering experience to just use something like this. This is a beautiful formula. And like I have to look at the shades that they have, because I wouldn't mind getting more of these, but I'm very basic with the blushes that I wear. I pretty much only buy these orangey ones, then maybe even like more yellowy, like mustardy shades, and then peaches. I don't buy pink blushes. I have like 1 or 2, and I don't think I need more. I don't buy berry blushes. Like I very rarely wear blushes that are more like berry-like or something like I pretty much use the same shades, or like it's pretty much just peach or orange, sometimes pink, like very rarely, maybe once a month if I remember, then it's pink. Otherwise I really do not go for other blushes. It would have to be like a special video, a special like look that I'm going for. So I don't want to buy 11. I don't want to have 11 blushes of the same color, just in different packagings and from different brands. But I wouldn't mind getting a couple more from this. I'm gonna have to look at the line and see. But I feel like you get quite a lot of product in this. Like you have what? I think it's also 4.5 grams. I can't find it here, but I feel like it was 4.5. No, it's actually 5 grams. So you get a lot of product in here. So I don't know if it's like smart to have multiple of these in different colors. But it's really pretty. And it smells beautiful. It smells like Christmas cookies or something. Like it's very beautiful smell. Scent, sorry. Then for highlighter, I'm actually kind of double dipping, or I'm using a couple different products. So as a base for my highlighter, on like majority of my cheek, I have this ColourPop Super Sugar highlighter in the shade Highly Wasted. I have it depotted because they kind of fell out of the packaging anyways. So this is Highly Wasted. I don't know if they still sell it because I've had this one for, I don't know, 2 years, maybe more. And then to top it off, just on the highest point of my cheek, I have the Mini Charms palette by Beauty Bay, which is one of my Pendos palettes for this year. And I'm mixing the shade Infinity, this one, with Milky Way. So these two together, and they create this beautiful kind of peach orange. Like it is orange, but it goes into peach because this is already like orange to peach to pink, and then this is more like pink to gold. And it just creates this beautiful highlighter. I genuinely love this combo as a highlighter, especially with like orange blush. So good. So that's for a highlighter. And then lips is, I have the Catrice Generation Joy lip liner. This one is the, yeah, just lip liner with plumping effect. And it's in the shade True Tangerine, which is CO1. Such a beautiful orange. I've already used it like 4 or 5 times. I used it, or I bought it for my full face of Catrice, in case you want to check that out. And this one is a really nice one. And then with that, I have the Auden's Eye and Angelica Nico's Halloween lipstick bundle in the shade Swamp Fog. This is the matte one that I'm trying to pan this year. And I've been having a good progress. Like I've had to like really like kind of swirl it around to actually get a product out. So we're getting to the bottom. Yay! So that's for lips, and I think that's everything that I have on my face for today. So let me know what you think about this look, if you like it, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Hi guys, so here's another look. And today I went for this like cool toned bluish green look because I wanted to pan and like use up a couple of products. So let me kind of walk you through all that I used. In my brows, I have the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess and the shade Midnight Oat. Do you see the dip? Like, I'm getting close. I don't think it's gonna take me that long to hit a pan on this. Then obviously my Maybelline brow glue. I'm using the Art Deco eyeshadow primer, and I think I can show you what I used because I'm not spoiling anything. I think I'm releasing this video later. So in this Liana palette, I have repressed the shade Just Now from the Merry Christmas pie by Auden's Eye. I've been able to use up almost the whole shade. There's just like a little bit here in the corner that I'm gonna use tomorrow, and we're gonna be done with this shade. So I'm so happy. So I have that all over the lid and all through my crease. In the inner part of the crease, I lighten it up with the Galactic Visitor palette by Cinch Beauty and the shade Saucer. This one's a beautiful shade. So I have that here. And then in the outer part, to darken it up, I've used this shade, which is called Night Sky, from the Christmas Eve palette by Auden's Eye. As you can see, I also don't really have much left. So I hope I'm gonna be also able to use it up tomorrow. So that is the matte shades, and I have this one all throughout the outer part. Then for shimmers, I used my Salmon Tupa by Auden's Eye, and in the second half I have the shade Deep Space, and then in the first half I have the shade Mercury, which we're running very low on. I'm actually very excited about that. And then in the center, or well, kind of all throughout the lid, over these two, I've used the shade Milky Way from the Galactic Visitor. And then in the inner corner, I have the shade Beam, also from the Galactic Visitor. And then on the lower lash line, or like in the waterline, I have the NYX Epic Wear eyeliner stick in the shade Blue Trip. This one, it's so pretty. Then I have the Fake It mascara from Catrice, this light yellow one. I have my Maybelline Super Stay Concealer in the shade Tan. I have, for the second time, I'm trying the Peripera Mood Fit Cover Cushion foundation in the shade 02 Ivory Fit, and there's also like 21 Yellow Base, so I'm not sure which one of those is like the shade name. And I've been enjoying this one a lot. It's like actually really nice. This is, as I said, my second day trying it, but like I think the face looks really nice. I don't think it really looks like I have any foundation. Even I was taking my makeup off like around 10:30 in the at night, and apart from the chin that had like a little bit of texture happening, which honestly always happens with foundations for me, you couldn't have seen the foundation anywhere else. Like my forehead was completely smooth, in between my brows, like you really couldn't tell, and that makes me so happy. Like, yes. So I'm very, very happy for this and very excited for this cushion foundation. I think I'm gonna try to wear it at my work. I feel like it could actually look really nice, and I'm just really enjoying this, and I feel like I'm sweating less. Like I feel like it actually holds the oils a little bit. So that's foundation. Concealer. Blush is the Revolution Fast Base blush in the shade Peach. On my lips, I have the Auden's Eye and Angelica Nyquist Halloween lipstick bundle. This one is the bad one, matte one in the shade Shadow Creature. And then a highlighter. Because I'm trying to pan it, as like a base highlighter, I've used the shade Hippo, which is from the Super Shock highlighter collection from Colourpop. And I'm getting close to a pan. And then I used my Summer BYOP palette, and I used this shade. I have it on my cheeks as a highlighter and also in my brow bone and as a highlight as well. And this one is, I think, Clouds from the Spring Magic palette by Unearthly. I really, really like this one. I'm almost hitting a pan on this shade actually. So, which makes sense because it's such a beautiful shade. And yeah, that's the entire look. So let me kind of show you one last close-up of this. I'm really enjoying this. Like I love looks like these, so this is very, very fun for me. And I think this was the last look of this video, so let me know which look was your favorite, which one you've enjoyed the most. And I hope you've had a wonderful week, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video. Bye!